Yo, it's Halloween! So I figured what better video to do than Castlevania Top 10. I first discovered the series when I played Castlevania 3 in 1990, and I've been a fan ever since. I tried my best not to let nostalgia affect the order of these. What I did is I played about 20 Castlevania games, and I put the ones I still had the most fun with on this list. Believe it or not, this list did not go how I expected it to, and I had a really hard time placing some of these games. Now before we start, this is just my opinion. If you have your own top 10, let me know in the comments below. Also, please do consider liking and subscribing. I'm very close to 500 subscribers and I really would appreciate the help. Also, comments really do help too because I'm a little guy and that helps the algorithm notice me. This is my first top 10, but I do plan on doing more in the future. And lastly, follow me on X at evo-genesis Neo. I post my video game collection there. Alright, top 10 Castlevania games. Let's go! Hey, number 10! Hey! Alright, starting off with number 10, Castlevania 3 on the NES. Well, actually Legend of Demon Castle Akumajyo Densetsu. This is the first NES game I'm covering on this channel. I've had Castlevania 3 longer than any other game in my collection. Got this as a gift in 1990. Castlevania 3 stars Trevor Belmont, but we're playing Legend of Demon Castle Akumajyo Densetsu, so his true name is Ralph. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that long ass title again, so from here on out it's just Castlevania 3. Castlevania 3 takes place 100 years before Simon Belmont's battle against Dracula. Dracula here is trying to take over all of Europe. The church calls on the Belmont clan, and Trevor or Ralph answers. The game is what the first 4 seasons of the Netflix series is based off of. Well, this and Curse of Darkness. Castlevania 3 is very similar to the first game, but it plays better, and it's got a couple new tricks. First off is Trevor. Yeah, we'll just go with that instead of Ralph. He gets his whip and sub-weapons. He's not alone though, he has 3 companions. As you get further into the game, you come across Grant Dynasty, Sifa Belnatus, and Alucard. While he can only take one at a time, Trevor can switch at any point. Grant has throwing knives as his normal weapon and can stick to walls. Sifa has magic and does big damage. Alucard has fireballs and can turn into a bat, but I didn't get him because I didn't record that far. This game has a nice difficulty curve. If you want to play some NES, this is a good one. Starts off easy but gets a little harder as you go. Very fun game and the best of the 3 NES Castlevanias. Another cool thing is you can choose to play an extra stage, or you can just skip it and go on with the game. And who can forget that badass intro? That one's got great music, but I meant this intro. The coolest thing about Akumajyo Densetsu compared to Castlevania 3 is the music. I'll play some comparisons. First from Castlevania 3, then the one with the long title. This game came with a special chip that added more sound channels. Either version you can't go wrong, but we got a lot of games on this list. You like to donate to number 9. Castlevania Dracula X is what we got instead of Rondo of Blood. Just like the last game being the first NES game I covered, this is actually the first Super Nintendo game I'm covering on this channel. This game stars Richter Belmont. He's the last Belmont in the timeline until we meet Julius way in the future. The biggest elephant in the room about this one is just how hard it is. This game will truly test your patience. Games like this, it's a real feeling of triumph getting past a really tough spot. I played pretty much every game in preparation for this video, and I would say this is the hardest game in the series. Richter has his whip, an assortment of sub-weapons. He can jump, backflip, and duck. That backflip really helps once you get the hang of it. Believe it or not, it's a lot of fun. Richter controls well. He does move a little slow, but he has great control in the air. This is a really nice looking game. I'd actually say this game looks better than Rondo of Blood. Stages are designed really well. Yeah, there are death traps all over the place, but these are some really challenging, great looking stages. And while there aren't as many as Rondo, this game does have a few alternate stages. This really adds to the replayability. Music here arrangements of the Rondo of Blood soundtrack. These are really good. Castlevania Dracula X is definitely worth a shot. Beating this one is a badge of honor. The challenge will turn a lot of people off, but with some practice there's a really good game in here. Also, the soundtrack alone is worth listening to. If anything, Dracula X is true to the lore. This place is extremely dangerous. Richter can complete this mission, but it isn't going to be easy. It's strange talking about Castlevania Rebirth so soon again. This game was in my last video, great game stuck on 7th gen consoles. This is also a WiiWare game, so you can't get it anymore. Christopher Belmont is the hero of this reborn adventure. This game is a remake of Castlevania the Adventure on the Game Boy. One thing I learned while making the last video is that this was developed by M2. M2 are the masters of emulation. Most likely if you've played any classic Nintendo or Sega games on modern consoles, M2 worked on it. But I'd like to see them make more because this game is awesome. This game brings back the classic style. Play a stage, fight a boss, next stage. Pretty much what we've been talking about so far. But that all changes with the next game though. Christopher must collect upgrades for his whip to get to its full power. It gets a short boost when you collect the second upgrade. A projectile is fired from the whip. It's temporary though. Another cool thing about Rebirth is that it has keys to take alternate routes through stages. This isn't like Dracula X or Rondo of Blood. Those two have alternate stages and routes. Stage design and graphics are great in Rebirth, so it's definitely worth checking out those other paths. The music is awesome in this one. I really wish there were more tracks. However, what's here are amazing rearrangements of classic tunes. It really sucks that Rebirth was never re-released. M2 made this thing. If anyone can port it over, it's them. It's a very fun game that deserves more play. Unfortunately, unless you already own this one, emulation is your only option. None of the outstanding Rebirth series is available for purchase anywhere. Number 7.
What?
Number 7.
What?
Number 7! There was a point in time I would not have put Lament of Innocence in a Castlevania top 10, much less at number 7. However, all that changed after I reviewed it. Castlevania PS2 outings don't get much love. I never really gave it a fair chance myself, and I bought this on launch day. Leon Belmont is the star of Lament of Innocence. Canonically, he's the first Belmont to take up vampire slaying. Leon has a few different whips to equip, and some different relics. He does get the vampire killer, it's just pretty much at the end. Hey, it's an origin story. Leon starts off with very simple combos. His progression is linked to how much of the map is explored. This is the first game on the list in the Metroidvania category, it's just a bit different because it's in 3D. Enemies start off easy but become more challenging. Lament of Innocence isn't too hard of a game though. As it opens up, combat becomes much more fun. Also, there's mixing of relics and sub-weapons. There's a lot of stuff to play around with, including secret characters. There's an optional boss that makes the final boss look like a chump. The story and cutscenes aren't bad either. The music here is some of the best in the series. Producer Koji Igarashi tasked composer Michiru Yamane with making a completely original soundtrack. He said something about stealing music from the future, but Vampire Killer still plays during the credits. Also gotta mention the amazing artwork Ayame Kojima did for this game. Really, Castlevania Lament of Innocence is an underrated, very solid action game that I highly recommend.
Are you ready for number 6? Yeah.
Castlevania Bloodlines is the lone Sega Genesis Castlevania. I remember seeing this at the video store when I was a kid. I bugged my mom to rent it. My nostalgia made it really hard to place this game. I really wanted to put it higher. Bloodlines has two playable characters, John Morris and Eric Lecard. John takes the Belmont role. He is the vampire killer. Eric Lecard is the one to play as though. His spear can attack in 8 different directions. They both start off with smaller versions of the weapons that have to be upgraded. They get a super upgrade that lasts until they get hit. There are also special and super versions of the sub-weapons. Bloodline's first stage is the ruins of Dracula's castle. After that, they travel Europe hunting Elizabeth Bartley. Yeah, she's the crazy one wanting to resurrect Dracula this time. This is also an excellent looking Genesis game. Konami really released some bangers on the console. There's some great stages like Atlantis and the Tower of Pisa. Both of these stages really show off some cool effects. Castlevania Bloodlines really is a great Genesis game. This game isn't easy, but it's a fair challenge. Another thing is just how much faster this game moves than the Super Nintendo games. As great as this game is, I gotta move on to number 5.
Number 5.
Super Castlevania 4 was a game I wanted so bad when I was a kid. I'd see the badass cover and wish I had a Super Nintendo. I didn't get to play it until 2000. It was worth the wait. This game is a blast. Simon Belmont plays so well. The best thing is that he can swing his whip in 8 different directions. There are tons of situations this is useful in. Simon is a descendant of Trevor and maybe Christopher. The Belmont family tree is a bit messy. He is Juice's grandfather though. Simon is also the star of the original Castlevania and Castlevania 2. Dracula is resurrected and it's up to Simon to take him down. One very cool detail is the map between stages. It shows Simon's path first to Dracula's pad, then once inside it shows his route through the castle. This is a very early Super Nintendo game, so it doesn't look as good as Dracula X. Super Castlevania 4 does have some cool Mode 7 sections though. Another cool feature is moving from the foreground to the background. The game has very outstanding stage design. There are many different enemies in here. Bosses are some fun battles too, and there's a Mode 7 boss. This game is very forgiving for the first few stages, but it cranks it up. One nice thing is there's meat inside of some of the candles, and meat heals you. This game is just great. I can see people putting this at number 1. Fun gameplay and a very good soundtrack. This is where the theme of Simon comes from. If you're looking to get into the series, this is a great game to start with.
Number 4.
Okay, at number 4 we have Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. This is the 6th of the 2D Metroidvanias. Our protagonists are the team of Jonathan and Charlotte. Jonathan is the son of John Morris from Castlevania Bloodlines. Portrait of Ruin changes things up by giving you 2 playable characters that can be changed at any time. Jonathan fills the Belmont role here. However, he can't use the vampire killer yet, so he'll be equipping swords, axes, and the such. Charlotte is a mage, so she uses attack tomes and spells. This mechanic is great in battles since they can both be out at the same time. There are also some puzzles to solve with the 2. That's not the only thing that's different. Dracula's castle has its own twist. In addition to the normal castle, there are portraits. There are 4 throughout the castle map. Each one has its own theme like a city or Egypt. Higurashi actually listened to the fans and added a lot of new sprites. A common complaint at the time about the series is that they've been recycling sprites since Rondo of Blood. Some of these sprites are in here, but there are a lot of new ones too. In addition to compositions from the amazing Michiru Yamane, Yuzo Koshiro joins in on the soundtrack. Yuzo Koshiro's most famous work is the Streets of Rage series, but he's done tons of other stuff too. He puts in great music here. Michiru Yamane, well, she's created a lot of the best music in the series, so shocker, the music here is awesome too. Both Jonathan and Charlotte are fun characters, and the story goes to some really cool places in the lore. Really, this is an awesome game. I can see someone saying this is their favorite, but it's not mine, so moving on.
Number 3 will surprise you.
Okay, I know I'm cheating by putting 2 games at number 3, but both are really good, just not as good as number 2. Aria of Sorrow takes place in 2035. Dracula was defeated once and for all in the Vampire Wars by Julius Belmont in 1999. Selma Cruz is the reincarnation of the Prince of Darkness. His quest to deny his power spans 2 games. A solar eclipse pulls everyone who is at a shrine into the castle. There are a lot of people wandering Dracula's castle. This game has a sizable cast and the story isn't bad. Soma has the power to absorb the souls of monsters and use their power. I like the system a lot. Being able to switch sub-weapons on the fly is really useful. He also gets to equip passive souls and one's mapped to R. These let you glide in a couple other techniques. This is one of the Metroidvanias and the last of the 3 on the GBA. This was as close as it got to Symphony of the Night on a handheld for a while. Well, at least until the sequel came out. There are quite a few new monsters running around, but there are some recycled sprites in here too. Soma finds an assortment of weapons and armor to equip throughout the castle. A guy named Hammer sets up a weapon shop near the entrance. He sells Soma plenty of gear too. The map here in Aria of Sorrow is one of the best. Dracula's castle is very fun and easy to navigate. It is a bit on the easier side, at least until the end. A very fun Castlevania that's a great place to start with the series. Tons of secrets hiding around, and the soul system along with solid gameplay make this one of the best in the series. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow is the sequel to Aria of Sorrow. Picking up 1 year after the events of the first game, Soma Cruz has to fight off other possible Dark Lord candidates. Many characters return, and there are 3 that are lockable as a group when you beat the game. This is a very early DS game. Konami obviously wanted to show off the power of the new handheld. Graphically, this one is superior to the PS1 Symphony of the Night. While there are some recycled sprites, there are many new ones. This castle really looks great and is a blast to explore. Sona himself is a really nicely animated sprite. His power of dominance returns. There are many new souls here in Dawn of Sorrow. The game is a bit similar, but even still, it feels different enough to stand on its own from the original. The big improvement is the music. I don't dislike Aria of Sorrow's soundtrack, it just wasn't very memorable. Dawn of Sorrow has a very good soundtrack. The DS was capable of high quality audio. One thing I wasn't a big fan of are the seals. It's a gimmicky add-on that doesn't really add much to the game. Other than that, this is a great game. Fun boss battles and challenging enemies make this one of the best in the series.
I think he meant number 2.
This is the real adventure of Richter Belmont. He's not alone as he enlists the help of Maria Renard. Richter's on a quest to save his beloved and other girls who were taken by Dracula. That includes Maria. Once she's rescued, she joins the fight. For a long time, Dracula X Rondo of Blood was only on the PC Engine CD and it was only released in Japan. The first time I played it, I couldn't stop. The style is more anime for the first time in the series. The intro to Rondo of Blood is really good too. The game takes the formula and shakes it up. Lots of stages have alternate paths with different bosses for the same stage. Just the stages alone are enough to replay Rondo of Blood. Another great thing is the save feature. With this, you can access the stage select to find those alternate routes. These enemy sprites are iconic, mostly because they get recycled so much. With the style of everything, it really reminds me of Mega Man X. Part of the title is Dracula X. But yes, the series was evolving, and this game is stuck in some awesome in-between. We've already seen some Metroidvanias in this video. Rondo of Blood gets close with the high level of exploration, and it set the tone for the series going forward. Not the Lords of Shadow series though. I like Mirror of Fate and Lords of Shadow too, but not enough to put them in the top 10. Richter has just the right amount of control to get through some tough situations. This game gets difficult, especially towards the end. The stage select gives you a chance to keep trying a stage you're stuck on. If the game's a little too tough for you, Maria Renard is easy mode. She attacks with a pair of birds. These things tear through enemies. She plays completely different from Richter. She even has a double jump, which is an absolute superpower here. The best thing about all this is how easily accessible the game is now. One huge thing about Dracula X Rondo of Blood is the game's soundtrack. This game uses Rebirth audio, so it has a full CD quality soundtrack. And this is one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time, and it's just as important as a solid gameplay. Every track sets the tone of a heroic warrior battling the demonic forces of evil. There are also arrangements of Vampire Killer, Bloody Tears, and Beginning. This isn't the only version of the game. I should probably mention the PSP remake too.
Und so begab es sich, dass nach 100 Jahren das Böse wieder Fleisch geworden war. Als unsterbliches Geschöpf der Nacht kam es die Gestalt des Wolfs, der Fledermaus oder des Nebels annehmen.
Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles is a full 2.5D remake of Akumajyo Dracula X Rondo of Blood. This remake is good, but Richter feels a little stiff compared to the original. Other than Distant Triumphant Return, which is an arrangement of Beginning, I prefer the original soundtrack. A cool feature in this are the collectibles. There are CDs hidden around the game. These are the original tracks, and once found they can be used for the stages. Two other collectibles are the original Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. Really great to have them portable, so I definitely say I prefer the original, but the PSP remake is pretty good too.
Yeah, you guys are not ready for number one, bro.
No, big surprise. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is number 1. Really though, could it be anything else? I honestly thought I'd played through the game too many times over the years. I didn't know if my opinion would change, like I get tired of it or something. Thankfully that's not the case, and this game is as awesome as it ever was. The game starts off with the ending of Rondo of Blood. Richter's got some great controls here. His whip dangles, and he has a slide kick. Richter can also run. He's playable after you beat the game. I'd like to play as this Richter in Rondo of Blood. This is, however, Alucard's tale. A priest named Shaft is trying to resurrect Dracula, and Alucard must stop him. The story's okay, but it's not the main focus here. Solid gameplay and the castle are the main attractions. Alucard controls great, and he gets many different items in the game. This is the first real Metroidvania. Unless you count 2. This castle is so much fun to play through. Symphony of the Night is on the easier side. It's probably the easiest game in this video. Alucard has a great looking sprite. He's animated so smoothly. Alucard has spells in addition to his attacks. These are like Street Fighter button combinations. I never use them. This is the best castle in all the Metroidvanias. It's just designed so well. They designed it so it could be played upside down. The team did this because the castle gets flipped upside down. The game is packed with secret rooms and weird items. I've played through this game more than 20 times over the years, and it never gets old. The game is the series' peak. I don't just consider it the best Castlevania, I think it's one of the best games ever made. We can't forget about the soundtrack. This game would not be what it is without it. There's some great rock and classical tunes. Michiru Yamane really knocked this one out of the park. The credit song really does seem out of place though. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a masterpiece. No other game in the series could be number 1 for me. There we go, my picks for the top 10 Castlevania games. I'm surprised I only put one GBA game in here. Harmony of Dissonance wasn't the top 10 until I remembered how bad the soundtrack is. What's your top 10? Leave them in the comments below. Please like if you liked it, please subscribe, peace.